Big weekend here in Ohio for our sports teams. Ohio State wins big against Michigan. The Cleveland Browns win big against the Cincinnati Bengals. And even the Cavaliers won. Imagine that. We'll start off by talking about the Buckeye game Saturday. Where's this team been? That was not the Ohio State team we've been watching for the last couple of months, or even since the season started. This has been the team that I think everybody has been hoping they should be. And man, did they pick a hell of a game to show up for. Talk about just complete domination all around the board. Even our defense was good. And our defense has been struggling all year. Offensive line played outstanding. Haskins didn't even get touched, let alone pressured or sacked. Ran the ball pretty good. Just an all-around great performance by the Buckeyes this week. Can't say enough about it. And I didn't see this coming. I thought that it was going to be a close game. I was worried that Michigan might have a shot at beating us this year. I really was. I was pulling for the Buckeyes. I kind of felt we could win the game if we didn't make mistakes, because that's what that game usually comes down to. You can't, the diehard Buckeye fans, we all understand that this game is a separate game from everything else. It's a season in itself. It's just one game. And there was no bigger example of that than Saturday. Ohio State played completely differently than they played, like I said earlier, the other 11 games of the year. For them to show up and play that kind of game against Michigan was just, I was so proud of my Buckeyes. I was so happy and joyful to watch this team play the way they played. And, we've gone through a lot this year with, the off-the-field stuff with the Zach Smith stuff that went on, Urban being suspended for no good reason, Nick Bosa's injury causing him to forfeit the rest of his career at Ohio State and, move on and start getting ready for the pros. We've been through a lot this year, and for them to put the kind of performance in Saturday afternoon against Michigan, I just applaud them. I'm so proud of them. I'm very, I want to beat Northwestern. I want to win the Big Ten, and I would like to see Ohio State get in the playoff. But I really don't care if they get in the playoff or not. I am so happy with how by beating Michigan and how they played. That to me, that's the game right there. And of course, I want to see us advance and move on. But I'm still living off this Michigan game. I think they made their mistake, I believe, was the one kid, I think it was Higdon, predicting victory. Somebody should have probably told him that's not a good idea to do that against Urban Meyer. I think anybody that's ever done anything like that, Urban's always kicked their ass, and this was no exception. Probably not a good idea. I'm quite certain that was on the bulletin board, and that really motivated this team to show up and play their best game. Dwayne Haskins is the best quarterback I've ever seen at Ohio State. Best pure passer, best arm. He's great. And I hope he comes back next year. I really hope he stays another year. He's phenomenal. He should be hands down the Heisman Trophy winner. It shouldn't even be close. Look at the quality of teams he's beaten this year, and how many touchdown passes he's thrown, the yardage and records he's broke. He's not only breaking Ohio State records, he's breaking Big Ten records. He broke a couple of Drew Brees' records Saturday. So Drew Brees pretty good quarterback. Everybody knows who Drew Brees is. So that tells you, last I checked, Tua wasn't breaking any records like that. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So how tested has he really been? He's going to be, though. That's coming. So, in my opinion, Dwayne Haskins should be the Heisman. It should be not even close. Heisman Trophy. It's not even close. I don't care about the kid from Oklahoma. Haskins is better. He just is. But we shall see. So that was a very great day for the Ohio State-Michigan game. One of the most memorable ones yet. Moving on to Sunday. The Cleveland Browns resurgence under the Greg Williams regime, we'll call it, has been nothing short of spectacular. This team is getting better and better each week. It's improving. They're coming together. They're gelling. They're getting healthy. You're starting to see this talent that Dorsey has drafted and brought in via free agency. You're starting to see this come together. And this team's starting to believe in itself. And now, at this point in the season, you've got a real dangerous Browns team. That there's some teams like Houston, Carolina. Cincinnati's not going to get in the playoffs, so I'm not going to mention them. I know we got Houston and Carolina. Baltimore stinks, but there's some teams we're going to play here that have playoff implications on the line. And all of a sudden, that Cleveland Browns on the schedule, that's now a hard game. That's not going to be this a walk in the park. Not anymore. Not with this team. This team plays hard. They play fast. We have a quarterback. Finally have a quarterback. Finally. It took us almost 20 years to get one, but we finally drafted one. I believe Baker Mayfield is the guy. He is the guy. He's got the swagger. He's got the moxie. He's got the attitude. And most of all, when he plants that goddamn foot in the ground and fires that ball, it is on a rope. It is on target. It's deadly accurate. And it's hard to defend. I'm all about Baker. I love this kid. I love his attitude. I love his personality. Especially love what he did to Hugh Jackson after the game. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What Demarius Randall did to Hugh Jackson, I loved it. Hugh Jackson deserved it. He deserved it. When Hugh Jackson was fired, I posted on Facebook, I thought he was a nice guy. He just didn't know how to win. And he had to go. Now I'm going to kind of retract that statement. After him accepting a position to go to Cincinnati, you just left Cleveland. You were just fired from Cleveland, where you had a locker room full of guys you were asking, just like Baker said, you were asking to believe in you and go out there on that field and fight for you. Now you're at the enemy, and you want to still be our buddy. I ain't cool with that. Baker ain't cool with that shit. I ain't cool with it. But I tell you this much. I hope they hire him as their next coach. Because if they do, folks, there's 2 wins every year we got. Because he can't win. That man cannot win. This is the same team. This Cleveland Browns team is the same team Hugh Jackson had. He had these same players and couldn't win. Couldn't do it. His stupidity from the get-go to not start Baker Mayfield right out of the gate, that was probably his tragic mistake. That's the one that got him fired. because Baker Mayfield is clearly, even as a rookie, he's head and shoulders far superior to Tyrod or T-Rod or Two-Rod, whatever he wants to call himself. And I'm not going to knock Tyrod Taylor. He's a pro. But he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Baker Mayfield is got a way stronger arm. His decision making's faster. He throws a better ball, and he's a rookie. He's going to get better. Tyrod Taylor's not going to get better. Tyrod Taylor, if he's going to dink and dunk and run and get a first down. That's how he's going to play. That's how he's going to win. He's not going to throw nothing down the field. He never did. He threw one pass for a touchdown against, I think it was the Saints. He threw that one bomb to Callaway. And that was all he really ever did. But I believe that was Hugh Jackson's downfall, not starting Baker out of the gate. I think we beat Pittsburgh. I think we beat the Saints. And, I think we beat the Raiders. We were robbed in the Raider game. We were robbed in the Pittsburgh game. And if we had a kicker, we would have beat New Orleans. We played New Orleans tougher. New Orleans blowing teams out by 40 and 50 points. They barely beat the Browns. We played them tougher than any team all season. Should have beat them. This team's dangerous. This Browns team's dangerous to these other teams. We have an outside shot at making the playoffs. I don't think we're going to, but I would like to see this team continue to play with the same tenacity and with the same mindset that they're playing right now, and how they're playing together as a team, as a family, and believing in each other, and it's raising their confidence, and carry this over in the next season. And then we can start our playoff run. Then we can really pick up where we left off. I think you got to hire Greg Williams. They should hire him and keep everything the way it is right now. If he wants to bring in a defensive coordinator in the offseason, go right ahead. But you need to keep Kitchens with Baker. You need to keep this together. They clearly have a chemistry. This guy knows how to coach Baker and knows what kind of plays to call. And I just think the Browns are playing awesome right now. This is a Browns team unlike a team we're used to seeing. I remember the Browns back in the 80s. We played like this every week. We put 20, 28, 35, 42 points up every week back in the 80s. And we played, Pittsburgh sucked. We used to beat Pittsburgh like a redheaded stepchild back in the 80s. The teams that we struggled with the Bengals was a good team back in the 80s. The Houston Oilers were great. Man, we struggled with Houston. But, right now, I'm just excited for the Buckeyes, the Browns, the way they played. I'm very happy. Can't say enough about it. I want to touch base real quick on this. The first thing I'm going to talk about real quick before I close this out is, I'm going to touch on Michigan real quick. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for Michigan because I remember the days when they were beating Ohio State every year and costing us a chance to go to the Rose Bowl, to go, on to possibly win a national championship. It hasn't been that long ago in my mind. And I think we've paid that era anyway. I think we've paid that back to them. But I think at this point, what has happened is that to the Michigan fan, what I saw and what I see when Ohio State plays Michigan as an Ohio State fan, your team doesn't have the talent that Ohio State has. You're not recruiting enough 4- and 5-star talent. and that shows when we play the game. Even though you have a good team and you're winning football games, when you play us, that's where the measuring stick is. This isn't Penn State. Penn State they don't get great talent. They might have a good year here or there. They're not getting the kinds of guys that Ohio State has. They might get a couple of 5-star guys, but they're not getting anybody. They're not getting the guys we get people from all over the goddamn state or the country. We get kids from Florida, Texas, California, everywhere. Ezekiel Elliott was from Minnesota. We got him from Minnesota, for Christ's sakes. So you're not going to beat Ohio State until you start recruiting better. That's just the way it is. You guys can shoot off at the mouth during the game week, say you're going to beat us and all that, but then you just have to eat shit the next day. My advice would be, don't say a word until you beat us. Don't stick your chest out, and don't talk shit about Ohio State until you beat us. Keep your mouth shut and recruit better, and maybe you'll have a chance at beating Ohio State. That's my advice to you. Other than that, I really hope we beat you every year till the end of time, because I hate Michigan. I despise that team. I despise their colors, their uniforms. I just despise everything about it. I don't wish nothing, and this is all in a football way. I don't wish nothing bad on the players. I don't wish no harmful intent. I just don't like that football team because they're my rival. But I don't wish anything bad on those kids. Or I have respect for them. I have respect for Michigan. But I just, they're my rival, and you're not supposed to like your rival. I don't like them. And that's where it ends. But you're just not, you're still the little kid. You can't hang with the big dogs. And that's been proven time and time again. Recruit better. And, you'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. As far as what Baker said about Hugh Jackson and the handshake, the awkward handshake. Baker didn't even want to shake his hand. And it was kind of awkward to see. But you know what? You can't do what he did. I understand that he was fired, Shannon Sharp. I get the fact that he was fired. I understand that. And I get the fact that, let me just throw this at you too. He was also paid. He was fired, but he's also getting paid by the Browns. Coaches, they get their money. So he's getting paid by the Browns. He got paid, even though he got fired. He's getting paid. He didn't have to take a job with the Bengals literally weeks after he was fired from the Browns. He didn't have to do that. Okay. It was weird because he went around toured the media circuit after he got fired. I've never seen a coach get fired, college or pro, especially pro. I've never seen a coach get fired and then go on a media tour like it's a celebration. He was on all the what was he on? Was he on the Fox shows? He was either on Fox or he was on First Take and all that stuff. He's either on Skip and Shannon. He was on I think he was on First Take. And I think he was on Coward or something. But he was on the morning talk show circuit. I saw him on there. And he wasn't talking trash, but why were you even on there for? Why were you on there? What was the story? Hey, I got fired. Okay, so why is it important to have you on a talk show? I don't understand that. What does a fired coach have to bring to your show? I don't get it. So he does the talk show circuit and probably calls his buddy Marvin Lewis and asks for a job. And they got to think of something. They got to drum up some fake, phony titles just so they can hire him. And Mike Brown's an idiot and just lets Marvin Lewis do whatever he wants to do. So now he's like an assistant defensive coordinator. I thought he was an offensive guru, but he's an assistant to the defensive. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't even think he knows what he's doing. But he definitely took that loser aura and mentality down there with him because they haven't won a game since they've hired him. They went on this losing streak. And I don't see him coming out of it. I saw today where Dalton is done for the rest of the year. So they're going to be playing that kid that Driscoll they put in there yesterday. Doesn't look good, Bengal fans. You know, sorry, I guess no Super Bowl again this year. Maybe next year you'll win it. Not. You're never going to win the Super Bowl with Mike Brown as your owner, Marvin Lewis as your coach, and Andy Dalton as your as your quarterback. AJ Green needs to get the fuck out of Dodge and go to a contender, somebody where he can win a ring before he retires. He's too good to be down there. So I think Hugh Jackson deserved every bit of the mocking that he got, regardless of what. Shannon Sharp was kind of going off. They were all kind of talking this morning about it. He was fired. I don't understand what's this animosity towards Hugh Jackson's about. It's childish, blah, blah, blah. You need to grow up. No. Baker was right. He went to the enemy. He went down. He's now with our rival. The Bengals are a rival of the Browns. Pittsburgh is our rival. Baltimore is our rival. You don't go work for the enemy. You just don't. You worked for the Browns. Even though you were fired, you're still getting paid. You got paid. You didn't have to go back to work for the Bengals merely a couple of weeks after you get fired. It just makes you look bad. It makes Hugh look bad. Like he just looks like he's desperately trying to cling to something to stay in the NFL, to stay relevant. And what's really funny about this is when we first hired him, when we first hired Hugh Jackson, everybody, and I mean goddamn every fucking body, everywhere, every media outlet, everybody said, all the experts, everybody, that's the best hire the Cleveland Browns will ever make. He's the greatest candidate he's the best coach the Browns ever had. This was before he ever coached a game. And the man was what, 2? How many, did he win 2 games this year or 1 before we fired him? I don't even remember. I think he won 2. Yeah, he won 2. But we beat the Jets. And, Baker beat the Jets. And we beat Baltimore. The man won 3 games in 2.5 years. Had an 0-16 season where he didn't win any games. And won 1 his first year. I just, it's amazing how wrong everybody was. And now there's people, most of these same people are saying, don't hire Greg Williams, don't hire Greg Williams. We should hire Greg Williams just because they're telling us not to. because they really don't know what they're talking about. It's amazing that all these people, you put a microphone in front of their face, just like I've got my phone in front of my face right now. I'm an expert. I'm an expert. You know, I say I am. I have a camera on me. That makes me an expert. They're the same as me. The Skip Baylesses, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, they're all, even their journalism crap, it means nothing. It means nothing. That microphone and all the stuff you spew into it, it's just you rattling off. You guys contradict yourselves so many times. It's not for there's actually a video of Stephen A. Smith contradicting himself like every week. He's literally back and forth every week about his Super Bowl pick. First it's New England, then it's Kansas City, then it was New England again. Now it's New Orleans. Next week it'll be Kansas City. It'll be the Rams. Just back and forth, back and forth. These talking heads, just don't pay any attention to them. They're getting paid to do the same thing I'm doing right now. I can say I'm an expert because you're just offering your opinion. Opinions are not facts. They're not truths. They're not absolutes. They're just opinions. They're people's thoughts on what they think about a particular subject. Doesn't mean you're right. Doesn't mean you're wrong. But they like to try and hammer in your head that they're right and you're wrong. You need to think like we think. The Browns are bad. You need to root for New England. You need to root for Golden State. You know, that's the winning teams. We want you to root for those guys because they're the winning teams. You need to don't root for the Indians. You need to be a New York Yankee fan or a Boston Red Sox fan. Man, fuck the Yankees. Fuck the Red Sox. Fuck the Patriots. And fuck Golden State especially. Hugh Jackson deserved every bit of the shit he got from the Browns players yesterday. You don't do what you did then. Don't run to the enemy and don't jump on that band. Don't jump on their ship then. Yeah, you were fired. I get the fact you were fired. That doesn't mean you should all in a couple of weeks start coaching for our rival and expect us to be all lovey-dovey when we play you. Fuck that. You hurt our team. Your inability to coach held this team back and probably ruined this season. But I don't really blame Hugh for all. I blame a lot of that on Jimmy Haslam. He should have fired him last year. Like I said, he should have fired him last year, but he didn't do it. So Jimmy Haslam ruined this season for us, not Hugh. Hugh should have never been here. I'm glad these guys did what they did to him. I think they should do it again when we play him here again in a couple of weeks. We're going to beat their ass again. So we're going to at least get one more. We're going to at least get another victory before this season's up. I would like to see us win out, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. If they keep playing like that, hell, anything's possible. Stranger things have happened. Good weekend to be a Buckeye fan. It was a good weekend to be a Browns fan. Good weekend to be a Cavs fan. I'm not going to talk too much about the Cavs game. The Cavs need to keep tanking. Just keep losing. And that's another thing. I saw one of them, I think it was Stephen A., doesn't want Zion to go to Cleveland. Well, it isn't about what you want, Stephen A. You don't get to make that call. If we get the lottery pick, we're going to take him. Or we're going to take Barrett. Or we're going to take Reddish. We're going to get one of those three guys. I hope it's Zion, just so it pisses you off. That's about all I got. I'm out. Go Bucks. Go Browns. Go Cavs. ESPN. You can go